Hello and welcome to another episode of How Are You Holding Up? A mental health podcast by the depressed, for the depressed. I'm Chris.
And I'm Lindsey.
And the first question, as always, I want to ask is, Lindsey.
Yes.
How are you holding up?
I'm sick, guys. super sick. So if I sound gross, I am gross.
Despite my best efforts.
Yes. Well, the whole office is horribly ill. I feel like I have... I know I have postnasal drip, so it feels like there's just slugs in the back of my throat going down, and I can't stop it. I can't swallow enough water to get rid of it. It's so gross.
No, it's the worst when you've just got that nastiness in your throat, and you're like, I just want to take a bottle brush and just clean it out.
Oh my gosh, exactly. And it's exhausting and it's draining. And I thought about canceling doing this podcast today, and then I was like, no, I've got a responsibility to myself and to our family.
Yeah.
To the family of us.
We're responsible for you. No.
It's good for me to follow through, even if I am sick.
Exactly. I agree.
And Chris, how are you holding up?
I've had an interesting week.
I've been worried about you.
I've been at a pretty persistent low this entire week, emotionally and energy wise. It's been kind of just a rough week, and last night was not any better. I had to cancel plans that I didn't want to cancel, and ended up feeling really shitty about it. So as a result, I was just like, okay, well, I will be awake until 5 a.m, just kind of living my life. So I woke up at 11:30, and I was like, yeah, all right, time to get up. Got a responsibility. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm glad that we are able to do this today.
I am also glad.
You guys, I'm really excited about today's episode because this is something we've been talking about but kind of putting off for a while.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try a float tank.
Yes. And what is a float tank, you might ask?
Or why are we doing it, first of all?
Well, yes. So we've, as we mentioned, I think, quite a few episodes ago, we are very interested in trying out different methods that people have suggested for combating depression and anxiety. Things such as float tanks.
I really want to try music therapy, and I guess it's color or art therapy. I think there's animal cuddling therapies.
Yeah, there's also things that are a little more, I guess, traditional, quote unquote, like acupuncture, acupressure, massage therapy, things like that.
Detox therapy and
detoxes.
Yeah.
Which I will be completely upfront with you guys. A lot of these, I believe, I know I am. I think you are as well. We're going into them with a skeptical mind.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff people have told me to try hasn't worked in the past, but I feel like giving completely new things a try is worth it, and at least being able to have... I've always wondered, what is aromatherapy like? What is, what are these things going to be like for me, and will they help me? And hey, if I find something that helps me at all, I think it's worth it.
Yes, so every single time we do one of these episodes, it'll usually fall into a 2-part, where the first part will be us discussing... Discussing. The first part will be us discussing the history or what to expect from the experience.
What we're nervous about.
Especially. And then the second episode will be recorded probably immediately after the experiences, where we can discuss how they were, what we had happen to us, what we experienced, and ultimately whether it was helpful for us or if we need more time to process. And
we were given a really clever recommendation, and it was we're going to take an assessment before we do the float tank and then after. So like a physical, mental, emotional, how are we holding up kind of thing.
Exactly.
And discuss the differences.
So starting off, we thought we would go kind of easy.
Yes. So I'm sure you guys have heard of deprivation tanks, where you go in and it's a little bit small. It looks like a tank out of some futuristic,
like a Japanese tube hotel.
Yeah.
Where it's just here is your tiny hole in the wall that you dive into, and you are in pitch blackness, silence, And
for an hour floating in the abyss.
Some places are 2 hours.
Yeah, that just seems like a lot for me. I was gifted, actually, a float tank experience by my aunt, who knows that I am interested in it. So we were like, well, heck, let's do this. So float tank is a lot more, I think it's a good first step. It's a lot more like a spa.
Yes, or a very interesting soak in an Epsom salt bath.
Yes, so we're actually going to be going to the largest float facility in the world, apparently. That's what they boast.
Yeah, it is based out here in Los Angeles, and we are pretty excited about that because they also seem to have the most amenities set up.
Yeah, they've thought of everything. So we watched a video. They have like an intro video on their website, and we will actually talk to them and see if it's okay for us to mention what their name is and all that in maybe next episode.
Yeah.
But for now, we can't. So we watched this intro video of exactly what it's going to be like, you know, arrive 15 minutes early and you will get a whole room to yourself. And actually, this room is kind of awesome. It has a shower, a changing area, which is all private, which for those of us who have social anxiety or like, I don't want to get naked in front of a bunch of strangers at a spa, maybe. This is great. You don't have to at all. No one will be coming into this room. It is all yours.
Yes.
So you get to change privately, shower privately, and then the actual tank itself is more like a room. It looks almost like a big bathroom.
Yeah,
like
it's
like just a bath.
like a big jacuzzi tub almost, where it's just like you can spread out arms and legs far distance apart. Like you can just go in there, you lay down, and the water is of course really, really salty.
Yeah, it's warm salt water. The science behind it, obviously, it makes you float. So if you're not good at floating, if you can't swim,
hi guys,
this water will literally hold you up.
Yeah.
It's 11 inches of warm water, probably about body temperature.
They're supposed to be, at like a warm, like you're supposed to, at least as you're lying in this water, lose sense of where your body begins and the water, where your body ends and the water begins, so that you just expand.
Yes.
Which I find to be interesting, at the least.
I don't know how, so it makes me a little bit okay, we'll talk about nervousness maybe at the end. I don't know. But anyway, so yes, so then, and it's a soundproof room. They call it a tank, but it doesn't look like a tank.
No.
So you close the door, and you get into the water, and there's buttons right next to you, like big old white ones, and you push one, I guess, for the music that will like fade off, and one for the light that will fade out. And if you have any sort of claustrophobia, you can just leave the door open and the lights on, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, which a lot of folks won't do anything like this because of those issues. Like, I know at least a couple people that I've talked to that have been like, you have to go into a dark room? No way.
Yeah, because it's scary.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
I didn't understand.
So but they let some, oh my gosh, words are hard. Before you even go in, they provide petroleum jelly. So I bite my nails and my cuticles, and I have little cuts on my hands. So you can put them on your cuts so it doesn't sting because it's salt water. And they leave really good silicone earplugs. Which
I will be using because I hate the feeling of water anywhere near my ears.
And I love the water in my ears. So I will probably not use that.
So once you've done that, you're supposed to lie down in this water, floating for about an hour. And they recommended various techniques, of which, like most people, when you are in a sort of like quote unquote relaxation, you are not actually relaxed. You are still lying there thinking of, what are you going to do after this? What's for lunch? You know, what have you forgotten to do? Oh, did I forget to do this? And your mind races. So they give you various techniques in which you're supposed to turn your brain off.
One of my concerns
Yes.
is I will fixate on the fact that I don't have a clock in front of me. I can't see what time it is. I don't know how much time I have to relax. When is it over? Is it almost over now? Is it going to be over? Are they going to come in? Am I not going to hear it? Am I, and I feel like that, because I have a weird time OCD sort of, where I need to know how much time I have to sleep or how much time it's going to take me to get somewhere. And so if I have this you don't have time. you are just supposed to relax. And I don't know if I can do that.
Time is a made-up concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it feels very safe for me to understand, and I can kind of feel out how much time things take. But they said, breathe, obviously. But also the technique was to count back from 100. And I thought it was interesting in the video. They say, and if you lose track of what number you're on, restart and just start counting back from 100 again. And I thought, you know what? The thing is, I would totally get anxious about the fact I'm like, oh, fuck, what number am I on? And then I'd get in my head. So I think it's so funny that they think of literally everything.
I think this was one of those projects that, like, people who made this
Tried to over and over to see what.
They definitely also have anxiety.
100%.
That is a guarantee that these people know exactly what they're talking about because they are going through it on a daily basis.
Oh, one of the other things I forgot to mention is they tell you to dry your face before you go in. So, like, your experience, you don't want to itch because then if you itch, you'll move your arm and then you'll scratch your face and then you have water on it. So they actually provide, and they also provide a clean water spritzer and a face cloth in the tub with you. Like, there's a little bar next to you.
Yeah.
And so if you should get some water on your face or eyes, I mean, they've thought of everything.
It's really incredibly well put together. So...
Oh, yeah. So you go through that, and you're supposed to zone out and relax. And then at the end...
Then you will hear music again. It'll kind of slowly come back. Then it'll kind of... The lights will turn on. And eventually, a chime will sound, which will, I'm assuming, go through the earplugs.
Hopefully.
So you'll be able to hear it even if you really puttied your ears good.
And it says the lights will phase on, not just turn on.
Yeah,
It's important.
Yeah,
It'll be like a gentle sunrise in your tank.
Yes, exactly. So after you get out, then shower again, and you have the option, of course, of just taking off and leaving. But they don't recommend that. Mm-hmm. They are very much of the mind that if you go in and you do this experience, here's what you do afterwards. You sit in their lounge.
Yeah, they've provided a lounge. They have water, tea, comfy places to sit. You can write, and they have journals, so you can write in their journal or read other entries. And they also have a video recording room, so you can record what your experience was like. Yeah,
at which you can also, talk to the staff. You can talk to other clientele about what they've experienced and various. It's supposed to be a very safe, very open, welcoming place.
Yes.
Which we're all behind. These all sound like incredibly relaxing things. They sound like they're going to be a very nice kind of spa relaxation situation.
Yes.
Will it be therapeutic?
Who knows?
I don't know.
I'm putting down some notes so I can remember this. So we're doing the first timer experience because you can click on either first timer or returning. And I guess the first timer is cheaper, which is interesting because I feel almost like the first timer should be more expensive should you not come back and they get more profit. But I think they want to ease you in. This is the thing. I have concerns because LA is bougie. Mm-hmm. And what I don't want to experience is going into this place and seeing a bunch of rich, beautiful, I'm into yoga and relaxation and Reiki and clearing the spirits with the crystals, and I get Botox and lip injections and my breasts are fake and yours aren't, and I'm going to look at you.
I just had a bulgur wheat enema and it was amazing.
Yes, I eat only GMO, animal-free, hormone-free, and I'm being nasty and hateful and horrible. However, it is a concern that I will be in a bougie pickle and there will be problems. Because I don't want to feel judgment, and I don't want to feel like I'm surrounded by people who aren't my people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm going there because I have mental health issues.
Yes.
I am not physically fit.
No.
I am not put together.
None of us physically fit. Neither of us are physically fit.
I am not a Hollywood-looking person, and I've noticed I've gone to places like spas or whatever and felt great, and then there's been places where I did not feel great or welcome, and that could be in my head, sure. But I pick up on a lot of people's physical tells or tones or eye movements or whatever. And I just read people. And whether I read them correctly or not, I don't know. But I read them and I know I know what they're thinking.
So I think that this is going to be an interesting experience specifically for you at that point of moving past the external stimulus.
Yes, this is why I'm excited for this, is because I feel like I'm constantly inundated by people. Like, I love my job, but after a while, people have been talking for more than a couple minutes. My mind goes blank. My ears are, like, exhausted. I feel groggy and stressed and, like, irritable and, like, ugh, just shut up. Even if you're being funny, even if I could normally enjoy what you're saying, if it's just constant sound and constant lights and constant, like, it's just too much after a while.
Yeah, it can be very draining, and I can wholeheartedly understand that.
So, I mean, that's just an example of, and I used work because I love my job and I love the people I'm around. So even in the best case scenarios, I get overstimulated. So going to a place, like, where can you go in your life where you don't have your phone, it's totally silent, you're just with yourself, and that's terrifying to some people, I know, but for some of us, it's kind of intriguing.
For me, it is definitely going to be the biggest challenge, is being by myself, listening to myself,
yes,
in my brain, and not letting the more sinister voices be the loudest bits of it. Because I'm going to lie in that tank, and I'm going to definitely judge myself for what I'm thinking and feeling, if I'm thinking and feeling anything at all.
Like, I should be relaxing right now, and I'm not relaxing. I'm such an asshole. Like that.
Yeah, a lot of that is going to definitely take place. There's going to be a lot more of just, like, as the skeptic in me just going, this is such bullshit. What am I doing here? I could be doing more productive things. There's things I need to be doing with my life, you know, and you need to be able to walk away from those thoughts and feelings. Or worse, honestly, is the idea for me of, like, I'll lie in that pool and I will actively achieve a mental state that I'm not able to achieve normally, and that this will be a thing that will be helpful. And we've talked about this before, where, like, you don't want a good thing to happen to you because you know it will be taken away.
However, why would that be a bad thing if you can access it?
Because that would mean that the only place I've been able to access it would be in this tank. I required this thing to help me that I don't have access to regularly. It would be a once in a while thing that I don't know. It's in the back of my mind. It's like, that's such a ridiculous thing to be spiteful of that.
Oh, well, you know, what I'm wondering is, well, yeah, that kind of mental space is really great and it feels good for us physically. Mm-hmm. What the lasting effects will be. Will there be any lasting? Like, what if we actually feel calmer and more alert the next week?
That could be amazing.
And it's not just that one time. It actually bleeds over into the next few weeks or something. And you're like, wow, I feel like I've kind of reset my brain. I've had some actual quiet time, and I feel pretty good.
Yeah. I think that would be an incredible experience at that point. If it was if we were able to do all of these experiments as we want to do, and all of the things that we do combined eventually lead us into a better mental state, and we get to a place where we're like, holy crap, we're feeling great.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I don't know if that would be the case.
Yes.
And I don't want to present false hopes, and I don't want to give myself those kind of false hopes.
Well, I think, what if we start practicing hopeful, like being mindful and being hopeful? Because being hopeful is not bad. And it gives you a little happiness. And while hopes can be dashed, there's still other good things that can come from it. Because
I know.
Don't you feel like part of me is excited by, I'm rarely excited about anything, but I'm excited by the idea of going on this adventurous journey of just trying new things for myself, for my mental health. Because I so rarely do things just for myself and just to experiment and leaving it open, and I don't really have expectations, and I am hopeful, but I'm more excited for the adventure of it and just trying it.
I honestly could not agree more.
Yeah?
It is so here's the thing. I love the new.
Yes.
The new and the unexpected give a lot of people anxiety, and they give a lot of people stress because it is a fear of the unknown.
Yes.
And the fear of the unknown for me does not exist because the unknown is adventurous.
So for me, the fear of the unknown is scary. However, having a partner to go through with it is nice. And I feel like this isn't as scary as other unknowns. Like going to a new grocery store, going to a new place is scary. But if you go with somebody,
yes,
and you're sharing this experience, you're in the waiting room, you're not alone. You know, I'm still going to get sweaty hands, and I'm still going to be anxious about time, and I'm, you know, getting there. But it won't be as scary going with somebody. And also, it's just like a different headspace than going to a party where you don't know anybody. You're going to aromatherapy to relax. Like, if you think about it, so crazy. If you're sick, physically sick, you got a cold or flu, you go to the doctor, you take medication, you eat very specifically, or let's say you've got a physical ailment, like you tear your ligament, you know, you get surgeries and you get physical therapy, and then you have special workouts and special things, supplements you take and pain. And it's like, we don't do nearly enough for our mental health that way. And if there's something wrong, which there's something wrong with me sometimes, and talk therapy is great, but not enough. And EMDR helped me, but it's still something that I need to continue to seek what can help me.
Yep.
You know, and I think we don't do that enough just as a society. It's like, okay, mentally, you're just sick right now, but maybe you can get better. And there's just so much science behind all of this stuff, and so many studies and people who have dedicated their whole lives to this. Why not give certain things a chance that maybe would help you? Maybe you will be in the 25% of people who can be totally cured.
That would be amazing.
Or at least make your life better.
Make our lives better. Ultimately, that's what we're going for here. These are all of these experiences that we are going to go through, all of the various things that we are going to experiment with. We are doing these in the pursuit of finding something, anything that makes our lives better.
Just better. We're not looking, I don't know if you can cure this, but I think, and also to make it less scary for you guys, should you want to try a new adventure for yourself to get on a better...
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with just listening to us try it and then going, you know what? If they could do it, so could we.
Yeah.
Because honestly, guys, this is one of the things that we don't really talk about a whole lot, but one of the reasons why we started the podcast specifically was because neither of us was finding this release.
Yeah.
We needed to find something, anything that was going to pull us out of our headspaces and give us a purpose.
And use the fact that we have depression for good.
Yes.
Instead of wallowing in it, use it to help other people, like to reach out and to create a community, and then be like, okay, well, if I didn't have this podcast I was making, what would I want to listen to, or what would I want to know about? And so that's good for...
Yeah, it's amazing for us. And that's the thing. You guys are more than capable of doing exactly the same kind of thing for yourselves. I know that it seems hard. I know that it feels impossible.
Yeah.
But there is always something that can be done, even in the darkest times.
I have a friend one time when I was overthinking something, and I was stressed and I was sick over it. Like, just, you know, that like nauseous, gripping feeling in your stomach. And I was just like, but what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if this? And he was like, but what if good happens from it? What if this is the best thing? What if it's everything you've wanted? Like, what if it's great? And honestly, I had forgotten that you could even think in that way. Like, what if it is an amazing adventure? What if you don't get help the way you need to in terms of, like, mentally doesn't fix you, but you meet somebody at one of these lounges after the float tank and you touch their lives, or you become friends? Or what if you go to this aromatherapy and you learn something new about yourself and unlock something that kind of helps you in your day-to-day? And just like little things like, hey, maybe I won't go to aromatherapy every day, but I will buy myself an essential oil that smells nice, and when I'm stressed, I'll give it a little sniff. And it makes me happy because it smells good.
And it smells good.
You know, I think, so that's the big thing is I'm terrified of doing new stuff. I get so much anxiety, social anxiety. Guys, I got this freaking gift card for this float tank in August. Mm-hmm. It is January, and finally we're doing this. I don't know if I would have done it alone. I mean, maybe I would have gotten a few weeks to like pump myself up to do it, but I'm just so grateful But we're doing it together, and we're doing it. And I'm going to record, at least myself, before I go in, and just to have something to listen back to about how nervous I was, because I'm going to be nervous. I'm nervous thinking about it. My hands and feet are sweating. Like, how gross is that? That's my nervousness.
I love it. I think it's going to be amazing.
But I'm also excited.
Yeah, exactly. So, for this week, we're going to wrap up. There's a video in the show notes.
Yes.
That's just kind of going to go over, like, the float tank, like, stuff. And we're in the process right now of getting a online group together.
Yes.
We put a poll on the Instagram about where you guys would most like to come together, discuss the episodes. If you guys want to post, like, little things that help you, or you want to post about, how your day is and things that,
It's just a discussion where we can all kind of talk and share and be a support system online.
So we will be setting that up probably in the next week or two. Reddit was the one that won, but we might be able to do both Reddit and Facebook. We're still kind of playing with the idea at the moment, so stay tuned for that. Follow us in the meantime on our Instagram at HAYHU Podcast, like our Facebook page. And if you want to send us something directly, you can always email mailbag@howareyouholdingup.com.
And we're also excited to say that we had a winner for the art for
Yes.
our sweater or t-shirts, I guess, rather, and then possibly stickers to come.
Yes, so we will actually be getting some merch going at some point in the near future. Stay tuned for that. And as always,
don't tell us to just get over it.